Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, May. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Hey.
That's
So
wonderful.
today we are going to discuss our emotion anger.
Yes. Very importantly, we're going to
Are you
anger.
able to hear properly?
Yes, there is a slight lag if you can check that, but apart from that, we're able to hear you pretty clearly.
Now you can listen properly?
Yes, we can. What we were thinking, ma'am, we would just wait for another 2 minutes for a few more people to trickle in, and then we can start.
Definitely, Amay. In fact, after the last episode, I'm getting so many questions for this disgust emotion.
True. So yes, actually, for everybody who might watch the video later or who are also attending the live right now, we have gotten an array and complete overload of questions about disgust, and we are so overwhelmed with the response.
Yes.
Uh, so we would for sure love to answer all of them. So we are trying to pick out the common ones and a few eccentric ones as well. And once we have a good combination of them, we'll surely answer them in our next live. Also, we're sorry that we were not able to come last Friday, but we were just both a little too occupied with whatever we had to do. So you'll for sure, try and get your questions on board. Hi, Zai. Hi, Mr. Singh. Yes. So it is wonderful to see all of you here, and it was all wonderful to hear from you guys. So yes, we will shortly answer your questions. And yes, also we encourage you to please ask more questions during the live itself. Of course, we do understand that some of you view our recordings and then ask us questions. But for those who are in the live, if you could really ask those questions in live and make them more interactive, that is something that we're really looking forward to, rather than having to passively answer questions.
Yes, true, Amay. In fact, I was just looking through few of the questions, and there was one person who asked about this disgust emotion, and he was very keen to understand that whether this emotion of disgust is a primitive emotion or it developed after some time when the civilization started developing, then the emotions start developing. So I just want to pick up that question because that was something really interesting.
Yes.
So if I just tell about disgust emotion, disgust is a basic emotion which all the humans were having when the civilization started, because then only we understand that something is good or something is bad. Then this emotion started evolving. But yes, now when the people have so much understanding about this emotion, that now it is not just it is preventing me from taking anything wrong or consuming anything bad, but more than that, now this feeling of disgust is increasing with the humans as well. One person is not feeling comfortable with the other person and having that feeling of disgust, rather than if I go back to the ancient times, that primitive emotion was just telling me that this is the good thing to consume. That was the basic meaning of this emotion, disgust.
The use
And when it increases a lot, then the disgust sometime may take the form of anger, which today we are going to discuss about.
True. So the use of it has evolved over time.
Yes.
But we're still trying to figure out how it leads from one thing to another. This one.
100%.
So so we have a few of our mates here, ma'am. So we could, I think, start off by talking about anger. Any questions? Let's see. So we can
Okay.
start.
Yes, Amit. In fact, before we start discussing this particular topic about anger, which is no doubt, I'll not say that any people have not felt this emotion in the lifetime. We all go through this emotion so rapidly, so frequently in our day-to-day life. But first, before I start discussing this particular emotion, I just want to know from you, from your perspective, that what do you feel? What is the need of this emotion? What is the purpose of having anger? Because all the time we are telling to kids, we are telling to everyone, don't be angry. So, do you think there is any purpose behind this emotion, according to you?
Um. All right. So basically, anger. As I've learned from you already, in my opinion, is a pretty natural emotion that serves more like a signal that something is wrong or something is unfair,
Hmm.
right? So it can motivate us to address problems, set boundaries, protect ourselves. So, it could like, how we spoke of disgust, be a very protective mechanism, very importantly. All the audience was here. I would like you to drop your thoughts on the purpose of this emotion called anger is, while I also answer that for the ones who are going to listen to the discussion later. Yes. So, hi, Sarvesh. Nice to see you. So, yes, anger in today's context, in a lot of times, is more of a negative feeling or emotion, as we say. All right. So, of course, it has a positive connotation to it. It's something we'll come to later, probably. But let's discuss if this, because when I say anger, it is a very very extreme emotion that we're talking about. It's
True.
not mere feeling nauseous of somebody, or feeling a little irritated. It's very very dismissive of a feeling, right? So yes, so anger in itself helps us to retaliate, helps us to protect ourselves, helps us to get out of uncomfortable situations, helps us to prevent ourselves from being hurt, and it has a bunch of other purposes that it can serve. And I think this is the shortest way I can explain the purpose of anger. But if you really want to, like, really really know, you should probably DM me or Dr. Bansal, and we could have a nice chat, or maybe you could trickle in into the subscription series and find out more about it.
And
So that brings me to a question to the audience first, and then of course to you, Dr. Bansal. That we speak of anger with a lot of negative connotation in general,
hmm,
but do you think, everybody, that it can also have positive aspects to itself? I would like to see a few comments. Anybody?
yeah, that's a very interesting question Amma is asking. Hello,
Mhm.
Geeta, Arya, and definitely everyone can reply that do you feel that anger is always negative, or is it having some positive side as well? Because the moment we start understanding that yes, this emotion is linked to some positive side as well, probably we'll not feel that much bad, we will not feel that much guilty inside us that oh my god, again I'm having anger, again I'm shouting on someone. So let's understand this emotion in a better way, as Amay is asking. Amay,
Yeah, so there's a difference between being
yes.
angry. Yeah, there's a difference between being angry and having anger issues. Oh,
Yes.
receiving DMs again, guys. Please reply on the live. We want everybody to see your answers. Okay.
By the time the viewers are replying and they are sending their sort of understanding about this anger emotion, I'll just try to brief and I just try to summarize this particular emotion.
Yes.
And is the most primitive emotion. And if I talk about the in the Hindi context, there are navrasas, there are 9 ras, which we are reading for millions of years. That is the basic emotion every human being is having. And if I again I'm go back to the Hindi literature, we used to call it Veer Rasa. We don't used to call it the Krodh Ras. We always used to call it Veer Ras. And whenever I'm talking about the the bravery, okay, so there is no negative emotion connected to it. But what happens, the humans started going deep into this emotion, that Veer Rasa was translated into the Krodh Rasa. And the people have started understanding that whenever I'm having this emotion anger, it means it is bad. For example, if a student is going to school and there are other group of students who are just bullying that student, and in that bully, if the student is developing any anger inside it, I'll not call it, it is a bad emotion. If a person is attacking on me, and in that anger I'm doing the self defense and I'm attacking back on that person, that's a self defense mechanism. That's the reason I'm getting angry, that's the reason that hormonal rush is getting inside my body. So first of all, understand that all the emotions, all the basic 8 emotions are the need of human development. I will not put any emotion into the positive and negative category, because that is so much, I should say, labeling any emotion. Or when I started labeling the emotions, it would be labeling the individual human being as well. Okay, somebody is replying. Amay, I believe you can read those comments.
Yes,
I'm not those
yeah,
comments.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. All
So,
right, I have received a whole lot. Oh, yeah, yeah, ma'am, please
so
continue.
yes, there are positive and negative both the sides, and I cannot say that anger is always negative emotion. Definitely, it is an emotion which tell me that yes, I need to be defensive. I need to reply to my whatever things are coming to me. But Ame, here comes a very important thing because I give you the example of school students. And when it comes to school students, certainly I'm referring to the age bracket of the teenagers. And as you are also into that same age group, you're also a teenager. So, what is your perspective when this emotion comes to any teenagers? So, do they understand that there could be any positive or negative side of that emotion? How do teenagers take that particular emotion, anger, when it comes to themselves? Because now I have seen there are a lot of small kids, and continuously their parents are just keep on bashing them that don't be angry, don't show your anger, and continuously parents keep on telling that you should not be angry because that is bad. How do you take that particular thing as a teenager?
Okay. So that's something really interesting to talk about. Also, just before that, ma'am, let me just go through these few DMs I've received, and let's
Okay.
let's just address them before, and then we could go ahead. I don't know. I am not able to see the proper people on the live, but all right, they have been replying on DMs. Nevertheless, as interactive as possible. So, yes. Is anger always negative emotion, or can it have positive aspects? That was our question to her, to these people. And yes, there are varied responses about. Someone has said that it can be positive when used properly. It can be positive when I divert that energy from my anger into good things or positive things. A practice I've been practicing for a while.
Yes.
I think this is a very good answer. I mean, yes, when you divert that excessive adrenaline somewhere
True.
useful, and you
True.
use that energy of your anger, in some positive direction. That's something that's gonna really really help you out. It's a wonderful mechanism to kind of handle it. There's another one which says that anger does not always have to be negative. Okay, it can be positive in the sense that one second, yeah, it can be positive in the sense that sometimes if I'm angry, I can help myself set boundaries, and I can help myself move away from negative things or people that happened to, or incidents that happened to come forth in front of me. Yes, absolutely. It is in some sorts of senses and in some sort of conditions, a protective mechanism. So of course these were just the first two that I received. So I've read them out, and I mean there are a bunch of y'all who have answered, and I mean of course they're all wonderful answers. We really really loved reading them. And of course, Dr. Bansal and me are going to sit after the live and sit and discuss all of this for sure. So yeah, we're gonna read through every single answer, so don't worry. Thank you so much for replying though. Yes, ma'am, you asked me how can teenagers differentiate between healthy and destructive expressions of anger, right? So yes, healthy. Yes. Now, healthy anger, because I'm a teenager and I feel I'm fit enough to answer this. I think healthy anger is expressed pretty assertively, addressing the issue without trying to harm others or oneself. So if I'm really angry, so now this happens sometimes when I'm working at Zeal. I do get angry very naturally. But I know that I don't have to yell at the person who's in front of me. I don't have to bang the table. I don't have to throw glass across the room. I am pretty composed, and, and I can direct my anger in ways where I assert what I really want to get done, or I can assert why I am angry, and I can actually reach the problem. So somebody had said, in a discussion I'd heard somebody say that when you're angry and you try to reach the crux of the problem, that's when you're actually angry and you're trying to get something out of it. When
True.
you're angry and you try to get attention, it's it is just you feeling insecure about something. It's just you feeling tensed about something that might not happen, and you're trying to just grab attention from around you so that you can get to the crux of something or the other, which is very destructive because it can harm your relations. It can harm just materialistic property around you. Destructive anger, is symbolized by aggression and violence majorly. And I think teaching teenagers healthy ways to express this anger, such as through communication and problem solving, as I just said, is very, very crucial. I learned this from Samaira also. Samaira is a wonderful, wonderful person. She's my co-founder at Zeal, and she's somebody that I have seen, and she's in Canada now. She flew just a few weeks back, and I know at times how anxious she can become or how angry she can become, but she always handles it very gracefully, and she's more graceful than I am, I must say. She can forgive very easily. She can let go very easily. She's that for me. She's a very big inspiration, and she's the epitome of handling emotions, I would say. A very wonderful human being I have met, and she's a teenager like me, like any other 13 to 18-year-old, 19-year-old that's out there. So it's very crucial for all of us, especially in the adolescent years where we have excessive hormones flowing through our body, that we need to cope with this. And that's where sub research that I'm doing with one of these neurologists come upon about coping skills.
Mhm.
You need to cope with your emotions, you need to cope with your surroundings, you need to cope with anything and everything that's going on around you. So of course it's very necessary, but I feel teenagers these days are not able to decipher. I usually speak a lot of positive things about teenagers always, and I'm usually very supportive. But in this case, I must say, the teenagers cannot. They're very disruptive at times, be it towards their parents, be it towards their partners, um, or their current love interests, as today they are described.
True.
Um, they're very destructive in a lot of other senses as well. They won't think twice before getting into self harm or trying to harm somebody else. So much so that I remember an incident where a student happened to push an entire rounder through another student's head. And so these are very destructive mechanisms, and I don't think that's the best way to look at these. So it's very important for and crucial for students to learn all of these mechanisms. But of course, so if talking in this context, ma'am, I want to ask you, what, in your opinion, because you work with so many students and you work with so many people. Thank you so much, Anarkya. What are some common triggers of anger in teenagers, and how can they manage these triggers? So I think there are a few teenagers who are watching us. There's Anarghya, there's Asmit, there's Rasdeep. Guys, can you also answer this question? What do you think are the common triggers of anger in teenagers? Meanwhile, ma'am, you can also go ahead and tell
You
us.
can keep on reading their
Yeah.
messages, whatever they are replying, what are the common triggers they are feeling. So if there is any important trigger you are feeling, you can just pin me in between, so that when I'm discussing about the coping mechanism, I'll take into that trigger also into consideration. So just you can just keep me updated about that. I have dealt with so many teenagers, and not only teenagers, the college going students. Maybe they have just crossed their teenagers and enter into the higher education system. The anger is at their peak. And sometimes what happens, they are not able to differentiate between the anger and the ego. These are the two very important words the student not able to understand. For example, the moment they enter into the higher education system, what they start feeling, that I am having so much self-respect, and whenever anybody is telling them even something good for their career, good for their behavior, they just being so offensive. And that is the one of the most important reason I have seen in student for the anger. They just being so offensive the moment the people start telling them anything. Because what is happening, why this kind of things are happening? Hello Nidhi, why these things are happening? Because what happens, since their childhood, means their school education is about to complete, and the parents are telling them a lot that do this, do not, so much authoritative behavior is coming from the parent side. So that is the reason the student starts feeling that no, the moment I have stepped out of the school education system, now I am free to do anything, and the moment anybody just point them out to do or to not to do anything, they feel so offensive. Somebody has replied, teenagers can get triggered by the things like academic pressure, definitely, and feeling misunderstood by family and sometimes in school as well. That's very true. Yeah, this, what happens, there is an age gap between the teenagers, I believe, the students, the teachers, and the parents as well, and that's, we call that's a generation gap. And when it comes to any emotion, anger, so anger, irritation, frustration, pressure, and dissatisfaction, all of these gets combined together. And what happens when the kids start, when any student or any kid or any child starts showing that behavior, the parent shows that it is an outcome. Whatever is coming out, it's an outcome. But why this emotion is coming out, why the child is behaving in this particular manner, what are the causes behind that, what are the triggers behind that? Yes, feeling disrespected, very true. uh, Without being judging, yes, true, you all are telling so specifically all the pointers that you are being judged, because there is a generation gap, and the older generation does not understand that what these kids are feeling. Because what happens, I'm also keeping myself into that older generation category. What happens, they start feeling that कि ऐसा ही हमारे साथ हुआ था, the same emotion we have also gone through, and the same way we have been told by our parents, by our teachers, in the same way we have to deal this younger generation. But we have to understand their challenges are different, their academic pressures are different, their environment are different, their exposures are different, so as their emotions are different. We cannot say that anger, the emotion which was existing 200 or 500 years before on this earth, it is the same emotion which is existing on the earth now. No, the definition, the triggers will keep on changing, the intensity will keep on changing. If I go again back to the earlier days, now you are asking Amay the coping mechanism. I'm telling you, triggers we all have understood, but one of the very important coping mechanism which I usually teach into so many clients which comes to me for the coachings and for the consultations, one of the best technique I teach to all of them is always maintain a diary, a notepad with you, and the diary should be very small. Just handle a pocket diary with you.
Right.
Feel that you had this anger emotion. If it is justified, then also. If it is not justified, then also. You write in that pocket diary why you got angry, किसके ऊपर आप गुस्सा हुए और क्यों, why that emotion came up from your side, what was the reason, and what did you get from that emotion. Did you yell, did you shout, did you say something to someone else, did you get that level of satisfaction after showing your anger, did you feel calm and composed inside you, did you feel a lot of cool feeling inside you that yes, I showed my anger, or was you feeling so much disturbed, were you feeling so agitated? Just write those emotions. If you are feeling calm, composed, it's good. But if you are feeling that no, I shouted, but that was not good, write in that diary. And if that no, that emotion was not good, I should not do that way, I should behave in a different way, you just write a specific statement in that diary that whenever I am shouting or yelling, whenever I'm doing such kind of thing, I let myself down. You can write this statement, I let myself down when I was showing this emotion. And you see, when you keep on practicing this thing, noting, that's why I always say that maintaining a journal is one of the best way to handle any, that is anger, disgust, even the love and joy. If you have a habit of keeping the record, maintaining each and everything, you will understand that what is the frequency of that emotion, is it beneficial or is it harmful.
Right.
So thousands of methods of coping with any emotion. But first and foremost thing, I should understand that yes, I need to handle it in a wiser manner,
Right.
because each and every strength, and first of all we should understand that how to handle it. Is there anything else, Amay, which the viewers are replying?
Yes, yes, there are a lot of replies, and I'm really glad that they are. Anarga, oh, Anarga, we know you're a calm person. That's all right. We just want to know what you think of your fellow teenagers as well. Yes, Tanya, thank you so much. So there have been wonderful replies, ma'am. We could move to the next question,
Okay, Amay,
and
I have one very specific thing to ask you. First of all, what happens? We are discussing since beginning. We are discussing one important thing, that when they show that emotion, then what happens? But there is the flip side of this particular emotion as well. What happens that I'm feeling angry, but I'm not able to express. So there are so many kids who are not able to express their emotions. Do you think that is this good? What do you think? Means there are two things which we should discuss, I believe, at this point of time. What is good, showing or suppressing? If it is suppressing, how the person or how the kid or how the teenager will feel if the teenagers keep on just suppressing and suppressing that emotion continuously, repeatedly. What do you?
right. So I feel that suppression is never good, as we always say. But even expression is important to understand. How are you expressing that emotion contextually? If my teacher is yelling at me and I'm getting really, really angry, I'm seething with anger, I'm just not ready to listen to her because she is wrong. I do not have the liberty to yell back at her. I cannot get up and punch her. No, you can't do that. How much ever of an urge you might be feeling to do so, you can't do that. So in that case, suppression is something that you should do. But you can always do that. They show this in a lot of cartoons. You get angry, you go out of that room, wherever you excuse yourself, go out, you yell very loudly and get all of that frustration out. Do express it somewhere, but express it where it is morally right. It is very necessary because you should not regret that expression either. Suppression is something to regret for sure, I know. All right. But that suppression in front of a teacher will be something less. Yes, and yeah, please, all the best for your exam. And you can always listen to the recording later. It was wonderful to have you. You're a wonderful audience. Yeah, thank you so much. So
Thank
yes, yes. So of course, you might regret having suppressed, and you feel like, no, I really want to go and tell her that she was wrong. Uh, yes, please do, Anarga. Thank you. So, but that regret will for sure be less than having stood up, yelled at that teacher, and having felt bad about it. Because at the end, she was somebody who was giving you knowledge, somebody who was teaching you. Right? So, that actually brings me to this concept of having long term consequences of unmanaged or suppressed anger. Unmanaged in my dictionary would be the one that you expressed immorally, and
you.
suppressed would be something that you really suppressed when there was no need to do so. Right? So if there is somebody who came and you were with, you say, with your baby brother, and somebody came and hit him, and you got angry, you have all the right to get angry at that person and yell, no matter who that person is, right? Unless and until it's somebody who has the right to hit him, that's a different story. But otherwise, you have all the rights to get angry, and please do that. Yes, Mrinal, we'll surely share that. So it's very important for you to express it in moral senses. I'm sorry, I'm just hindering a little bit. Let me focus and give the answer. So yes, unmanaged or suppressed anger can have negative consequences on mental and physical health as well. It can lead to, things like chronic stress, increased risk of mental health disorders, and strained relationships. It's important to learn, how to express and manage, especially anger, constructively. So I'm interning with this neurologist, wonderful lady, Dr. Gauri, and she was teaching us the brain the other day. So when we, this is just generally your brain. This is the shape of how it will be, and this inner region, is how your emotions are in, there's emotion, there's this feeling, there's emotion, and there's this curve that goes around. And when you're actually suppressing emotions, holding on to stuff, not talking enough, you're damaging this. You're damaging that inner part of your brain. You're troubling a very, very sensitive tissue. Your brain has the consistency of tofu. You can cut it with a knife very easily, as if you're cutting paneer, right? And you're actually stressing it. You're pulling it. You're causing wear and tear. It's going to affect you mentally, neurologically, physically. You know, could lead to some other sort of dysfunction of your nervous system. It has so many effects apart from just feeling emotionally let down. It is a cause of several disorders. I'm speaking of diseases and disorders, not of a mental state where I felt so bad about having yelled at that person. There's so much more. My sister says, so my brother has major anger issues, he gets violent. What steps should we take to control his anger?
Will
Well,
surely be taken.
I'll tell you later. Maybe Dr. Bansal can answer that question. I don't want to be biased. So yes, but that can affect your mental health, your physical health, your neurological health, the entire anatomy of your body, as I would say. So yes, it does have very, very dangerous and very, very hampering long-term effects. So, ma'am, you could answer that question from my sister, and I'll ask you one more last concluding
Okay.
question.
Mrunal, if you are feeling that your brother is having anger issues and he gets violent when he expresses, so first and foremost thing, one need to understand that why he has developed that mechanism to show off his anger. Why? Has he seen that this is the best mechanism to show the anger? Is he getting fulfilled any of his need by showing this mechanism? Is he getting attention from the parents or from the surroundings when he's getting violent? What he's getting, because whenever we are expressing any emotion, it is for the purpose of getting satisfied one of our need. So which need is getting satisfied by showing that violence behavior? That is first and foremost thing. And do you think that that particular need can be satisfied without getting violent? Like what happens with many of the kids, they feel, why they feel, because they have experience. If they have that sad face at home, so what they have understood, that the moment they are feeling sad or they are feeling cranky, they are showing this emotion, the parents just surround that child and just fulfill that need, whatever the child is asking. So is your brother is having that attitude? The moment I get violent, everybody at home will get settled down. Everybody at my home will show the attention to me only. And whatever I ask would be justified. If this the emotion, so we need to understand what need is getting justified. That is first and foremost thing. Then comes the coping mechanism. Because it is very important to handle anything to understand the cause behind that. Because whatever you are seeing, that is an outcome only. That is not the cause. So important things. I hope to uh, I'm able to just help you out with some pointers maybe.
Yes, stress, I will help, ma'am. Don't worry. So, well, yes, I'm a very good and calm person. Please don't judge me. So, let me ask you a concluding question, ma'am. Now, we have discussed throughout that anger can be used as a coping mechanism at times, or, can be used to drive positive change. Can you give some example of, some celebrity or some famous individual, uh, who used their anger for a positive? Now she says perfect reasoning. I was just taking a dig at him. How mean. Never mind. So, can you provide an example of some famous individual who used their anger to, trigger positive change in themselves or in their surroundings?
Many a men. You pick up your history book, you pick up the example of any social reforms movement, be
Hmm.
it dowry, be it equality for the women, be it the child abuse, any example you take. The people got angry. They developed this emotion of anger inside them.
Right.
Then only they thought that yes, I need to fight for this particular cause. If I go back to the freedom fighting movement, we were the slaves of the Britishers for nearly 200 years, maybe 150 years. But the anger start developing inside the heart of, I'll not say brain, inside the heart of human beings, and then they use that anger to start that freedom fighting movements. Even nowadays, there are many social reformers who are just picking up that anger for any activity which they are not feeling it is justified, not only for themselves, for the entire humanity. And then they are taking that trigger of their anger and to just change the entire things, change the entire momentum. All the social reforms, the basic emotion behind that was the little anger. They feel agitated. I'll not say that was anger, but that was a little agitation. And that agitation, anger, I'm having discomfort because of that. And that discomfort, you rightly pointed about our brain. And whenever I'm having any discomfort or any agitation inside me, that specific emotional brain, it gets triggered up, because the brain is having the mechanism to keep me safe and secured. The moment I feel discomfort, that area of brain gets activated.
Right.
And when that activated, it is just start pushing me towards that specific emotion, that show this, use this, because that is the basic function of that emotion. And nowadays calling it that yes, no matter, whenever anything is not getting as per my way, the people are not responding as per my will, so I show my anger, I'll just yell at them, I'll just start shouting at them.
Right.
But the basic purpose is just to use that discomfort to change the that.
Right. So, from spark to a flame, as we could say.
Actually,
Spark
that's just
anger or agitation to, a flame of positive change.
true. You can
That,
either start your vehicle by using that spark, or you can burn the entire country by using that spark. The choice is
right. Well, that was a wonderful discussion today, Dr. Bansal. So, yes, again, anger is a primary emotion out of the eight. And of course, there are so many other supplementary emotions that come out of it. There's hostility, there's rage, there's annoyance, there's fury. And it's important to understand every aspect of each of these upcoming emotions after anger, right? So I am angry. Now what? Am I getting furious, or am I getting hostile? Am I really getting annoyed of people, or I am having extreme fierce rage? Right? Of course, that is something. So this was an introduction to what anger really means and could mean to you and us. Well, if you would really, really like to understand more, of course, you're always free to join the course and understand how anger can be perceived in different senses. Dr. Bansal just spoke to you about a small journal, right? About a diary that you can keep. There are different records that you can keep. There are different ways, there's different mechanisms, there are different methods to control these. And I know that, these things can be toned down right from excessive anger issues to, just mild strokes of, as I would call them,
true.
discomfort. And there are so many ways to do these wonderful things. Hi, Akshara. It's so nice to have you. So of course you're always free to learn, and that is something that is very important. And I urge you as a teenager, to every teenager who might and is watching this, to please join this course with Dr. Bansal and have a wonderful time understanding and discovering yourself, reinventing yourself into becoming a more emotionally resilient person. It's a 1 year long course. I know it's a commitment, but it's just meeting her once a month and then just keeping follow-ups. It's wonderful, and you can it's not a heavy course. You don't need to keep notes and give exams. It just keeps running in the background, and it just makes you a more beautiful human being. I did this course with Dr. Bansal. I did it in a shorter period, but I did it with her, and I am co-training with her on this.
Yeah.
But so beautiful, and I have seen transformation in myself, and I'm pretty sure you will see too. So yes, with that, we should bid you a good farewell. We will see you soon in our next live that comes on Friday, and we'll be discussing a new primary emotion at that time. Hope to see you all there. Please do join in and enjoy our lives, and we hope to see you in our workshops too. So good day. Ma'am, would you like to say anything towards the end?
Yes, Amay, you have said everything. You have beautifully compiled each and every point which we have discussed today. And just one more pointer. Any one of you, if you feel that you want to join that course, you can either message Amay or you can write to me on that Instagram. You have our channels. So you can DM any one of us. And what Amay was telling, that he joined that particular course with me. And yes, this time he is helping me to conduct few of the sessions. Sorry. So once any one of you get trained in that particular courses, I would be happy to take you as one of the co-trainer with me, because that's a course which is beautifully designed only for the teenagers. And I would be more than happy that this course in the later stages is driven only and only by teenagers, so that you guys can better interact with each other. That is my whole purpose. So whosoever is feeling to get trained in this particular, these all these kinds of emotion, just register for this course. And yes, definitely you can message Ame or to me. That's it, Ame.
You can, yes, you can always get in touch with either of us. You can understand how the course works. You can understand, even if you feel that you don't want to register, but you really want to learn, you can talk to us. We can help you in different ways as well. you know this is a passion project for Dr. Bansal as well as me. It is not a course that we are putting on flyers and selling, that oh, we have a course now, buy it and go ahead. And we both are personally involved. We don't have any trainers who train under us or with us. It's just the two of us, and we're training by ourselves, right? So we are really, really involved in the entire process, and we really love to see you people grow. And oh, hi, Pratik. Pratik is a very wonderful friend of mine, the first friend I made in life. See, I am here. So yeah, please, all if you do join in, I'm sure Pratik is going to get in, and let's have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful session. The first batch starts October 23rd, so please get in. We are hoping to start it on 23rd October, latest by November, 1st of November or so. So please, please, please do join in, and we would love to see you there. Wonderful time. We'll enjoy a lot. We'll try and bring in a few celebrity neurologists and psychiatrists if possible, and we'll help you meet them as well. If you really want to see somebody who is called a therapist, we'll show you who they actually look like. But we hope that you never need one and you get emotionally resilient through this course itself. Thank you so much. With that said, we should end our live here today. See you in the next live on Friday. Good time till then. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
Take care.